Welcome to episode 10 of the BTI Podcast. Today, the gang talks to special guest Pedro, owner of F1 Cyclery. Enjoy.
All right, welcome back to episode 10 of the BTI, the podcast. We've got a special guest here today, Pedro from F1 Cyclery here in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Stoked to have you on the podcast. Welcome. Heck yeah. So it's kind of a new shop. I think there's going to be some cool insight into the challenges and fun of getting that thing up and running. So look forward to it.
I don't know. I think we're 150 days in.
Sweet.
I was doing the math yesterday for something else, and it was like 150 days. Holy cow. It doesn't feel that much, but it feels, something new happens every day.
I bet.
For the most part. So, it's a learning experience. It's a learning, brand new everything. Every day is freaking awesome. It's weird though, working by myself and like coming in and getting everything going, and then just like me, and all of a sudden somebody comes in and it's like, oh, I'm busy. Like one customer comes in like, oh, no, I'm busy. Cool.
Yeah.
So all I need is one customer and a phone call, and then I'm busy.
Mm-hmm. That's it. Yeah, exactly.
So that's good. It's fun.
Do you have like a threshold that you have in your mind about when you're going to feel like, I don't know, like this is some big success if you like when you cross over this date?
I haven't thought about that yet. I don't know. I think we're just
taking one day at a time.
Taking one day at a time. Yeah, I think it's just letting stuff happen however it does, and when it does, it's just like enjoying every part of it. Like I've seen so many new people that I've never seen before in any of the other bike shops I've worked at. So it's interesting seeing new people in town, new people on the bike, new customers for me, new customers in general. So yeah.
I assume Meow Wolf brings some tourists in, or like out-of-towners down?
Not yet. I had one guy come in.
Yeah, there was that drummer for Tycho.
Yeah.
Was in there the other
day that
couple
you were
weeks
there.
back. Yeah.
Yeah, he called me up and he's like, yeah, I got a flag. Can you help me? I was like, yeah, sure, come on over. And then he comes over. He's got like a little fixed gear, single speed. And
it was
we're
a
talking.
sick cruiser, to say the least.
Yeah. And he's like, yeah, I got a flat. So I just fixed up the flat and we're talking. I think Jake and Rossman were there. Like, oh yeah, I play for this band. I'm going to be playing over there. We're like, oh, sweet.
Cool.
So
cool. Okay, well, before we get too deep into this, let's take a step back and like introduce the shop a little bit. We said F1 Cyclery. You just opened 150 days ago, but like, tell us about your history. Like, how'd you come to opening a bike shop?
Some of the things that brought me here was, first of all, my last job was working at Velo for 6 years, and we got a rough notice that it was going to close. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. But right before that, my business partner, David Miller, had been asking me for probably 8 years, hey, let's open up a store. Let's open up a shop. And I've always been like, I don't know. I don't know. It's just always been afraid of like being part of ownership, or I never thought I would own or be this high ranked in a shop. It just never came through my mind. And every other year, every other couple of years, he would find me and was like, hey, when are we gonna open up the shop? And then it's like, oh, not yet. There's really no brands, but yeah, not yet. I don't know. And 2 years ago, I think, my wife and I ended up paying off our house. And one of the goals that I had put in my mind is like, when we pay off the house, I can afford to risk something. And, I had it in the back of my head. And in April, May or June, my partner called me up and he's like, hey, I bought a building. When are we going to open up a shop? And I was like, how about this year? And kind of jokingly like, yeah, this year. All right, cool. But it wasn't nothing like solid. It was
and this is still when you were working at Mello.
Yeah, I was still working at Mello.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of like a random thought. Nothing serious, nothing solid. And then I think a week later, we were sat down by David Bell, which is the guy that owned Velo. And he's like, hey, I think we're going to close the shop. And we're like, okay, all right, well, we didn't know what to say. We were like all shocked.
Yeah, yourself and our other new employee here, Rawson, just have been super long time there.
Yeah, he was
6 years. I think he was there 10 years. Yeah.
12, 10, 12, something like that. Yeah, plus 10. And we were like, okay, cool. So I called my partner. I was like, hey, how about we open up in a couple months? He's like, what? He was like, yeah, we just got a notification that I think the shop is going to close. He's like, when? We don't know. So we left it at that. We went into the shop. I worked Tuesday through Saturdays for almost always. And he's like, yeah, I think this coming Sunday would be our last day. And we're like, whoa. And we're like, none of us knew what the hell was happening. We were all like super shocked, like, holy cow.
And this is still a shop stocked with bikes. Like,
oh, yeah,
fully,
we were fully functional.
Yeah.
I mean, up to that weekend, we were fully functional. We had just ordered some bikes for customers. We had just received some bikes for other customers. We were functioning just like we always did. So it was a big shocker. So at that point, Ross and myself and a couple others, we were like, what are we going to do? And I was like, well, I'm going to open up a shop. Like, what? Like, yeah, fuck it. I'm just going to open it up. And yeah, so Sunday came around, we closed. I had a little kind of a video photo shoot with a company called Gravel Adventure Guidebook. They were doing the Santa Fe book. And they're like, hey, we need a guide over here. And I was like, yeah, I'm game. Like, what do you guys need? Oh, we're going to go over there. We're going to take pictures. And then we're going to go over there and we're going to take some more pictures. Like, yeah. When? It's like, oh, we'll do it this day. I was like, all right, cool. So what's going on? It's like, oh, we closed the shop. It's like, what? I was just in there like a couple. It's like, yeah, we just found out. And they're like, what are you going to do? Oh, I'm going to open up a shop. It's like, oh, really? Like, yeah. Oh, awesome. So we did that. And then I think I got the keys on that Friday, the 20th. So we closed French Independence Day, which is the 24th, I think, of July. So on the following Friday, I got the keys. I moved in on that following Saturday. I hadn't even set up the workbench, and I had a kind of a customer / buddy come by, and he's like, oh, I need an adjustment. So I was like working on bikes right away. And
sounds like this was all like really, I don't know what the right word, like serendipitous.
Yeah.
You know, like you already kind of had things in motion just without even knowing that your other job was going to end. And so it was just like seemed like a seamless transition in my mind for you.
Funny enough, it kind of ended up being seamless. It was one of those things that nothing was planned. I never thought I was going to be opening up a shop. Never in my dreams. I had my unfunny joke at the shop when people would come in. It's like, are you the owner? It's like, no, I like to sleep at night.
Yeah.
And now I know what that means exactly. My unfunny joke now became reality. And it's like, fuck, there's so many things that like keep you up at night. And it's like, we got broken in the fourth week that we opened up. Somewhere within the first month and a half, we got broken in. And then after that, it's like sleepless nights. It's like,
yeah, for those that don't know, the smash and grab thing is a thing here in New Mexico.
It's getting more common.
Really sad that it's happening. That so
a lot of local shops are dealing with that.
Yeah, I think every shop has been hit at least once. Unfortunately, yeah, either while they're open or while they're closed. I mean, at the downtown shop, we got hit a couple times. We got a notification somehow. Huge windows. I mean, they're probably like 6x6 windows. So they had removed the window professionally.
Like cut out and removed.
They cut it out and they put it to the side of the building. And then they grabbed a few bikes and they left.
That was at Melavello off Marcy. Yeah.
And so that was the second time that I at that shop encountered that. The one before it, some crazy dude, young guy, kind of just a regular guy walks in. And the thing that kind of set the alarm was, what's your best bike? Like Lance Armstrong bike.
Nah.
and we're like, what? And he's like, yeah. So we set it up, and right before he got on the bike, because we would let people test ride. As soon as he left, the way he just rode away, I was like, he's not coming back. And sure enough, he didn't come back. Yeah. The next day or the 2 days after that, and I see the guy. And he had a face mask, sunglasses, hoodie. But as soon as he walked in, I recognized him. And I'm like, I know this dude. He walked kind of towards where the bike was at, the one that he took. And when he's coming out, I'm like, hey, you can't leave. He's like, what? And then he pushed me. So I put him on the ground and held him. And then the cops show up. and they arrested him.
Nice. Did you recover that stolen bike at all? Or?
A few weeks later, another guy that owns another shop, Haji Corona, he found out that the bike was stolen. He kind of got an idea on what it looked like. And he was driving on Cerrillos. And he saw this weird van, like sketchy van with a bike on the roof. And he looked at it and he was like, that's the bike. So he kind of like stopped the guys and was like, hey, that's my bike. They're like, oh, no, we just bought it. Okay, well, it's my bike. And it's like, oh, we just bought it for like $50. Here's $50 or $100. I can't remember. And they're like, okay, well, here you go. So he brought it back.
Wow.
So we did end up recovering the bike. And the dude's still in town. I've seen him a few times after that. And it's just so sad. I mean, the one that we got broken in, we had 3 customers' bikes. We had 2 of my bikes. And then we had like 20 brand new bikes. And I get a text at like 6 a.m. It's like, hey, where's your bike?
Oh, man.
Well, one of the bikes was given to me by David at Melovelo.
Which one? What was it?
It was a Guercioti cyclocross. What do they call it? I can't remember the model.
Had some cool bikes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's got some style. Yeah, for sure. He's got an eye for cool stuff. I mean,
old Peach, his Vicious that he's got.
Yeah.
Oh, old Peach.
No, he for sure had a good vision of
Italian stuff, especially though.
Yeah. No, he had a Italian knowledge of all those old bikes, and people would walk into Melovelo and it's like, this is the coolest shop ever. And we're like,
a lot of history on the walls for sure.
For sure. Yeah. And that coffee machine was just an eye catcher. Like everybody would walk in, like, oh, what is that? I was like,
to this day, I would pop there to deliver some parts, and you'd make me a coffee with that thing. Thing would just, it was like eating an edible. Like it was just like zzz, like all of a sudden you're like,
your hair is
like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Even Lou doesn't do coffee much, and he had one. You made him one once, and he said he was like freaking out.
Oh, that happened to me. I probably had maybe 6, maybe 10 coffees in the whole time I was there.
It's not enough.
Whoa, yeah. There was times where like I would have it like past noon, and also I couldn't remember like I would get home and I would go to bed and I couldn't sleep, and I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And then the next day I was like, oh, I had a coffee.
Yeah,
that's why.
there you go.
And Rawson, he would drink like 4 a day.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Another level.
Oh, and my other coworker, Jonah, he would drink probably 3 to 4 a day. Like,
burning heaters too, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Jonah for sure.
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, probably. But yeah, it was like, man, that
They held me out in the middle of a couple of like big rides. I stopped in after riding down the ski area road and like, woof, that's going to get me home. Let's do it.
And more. I mean, you probably had enough nitrous after that for another go up and down.
Right.
Yeah, that was some strong coffee. But that machine was like...
Steampunk is all hell.
Oh,
yeah. I heard it's back in Plum Dog's hands.
Oh.
Anthony, right?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I heard that he recovered it. I don't know if he's working with it or not, but I saw him a couple of weeks ago.
But I've met him a few times on the trail.
Yeah.
You know, he seems like a cool dude. That's for
He's
sure.
super cool.
Yeah.
Super and fast.
Super fast.
And had a gnarly accident and like
3 years ago, he broke his back or neck.
Yeah.
Back or neck or both.
And like rode out. And supposedly that like may have helped save him.
He told me that the doctor said if he didn't ride out, it was a couple reasons though, because they said if he wasn't able, like riding out showed them he was okay to be able to do like the next section of treatment or whatever. So that was one part that was good. But also like there was some time element where if he hadn't gotten out quick, it could have gotten worse. So yeah, he rode himself out with the broken neck.
And he just set up a couple KOMs in town.
I believe it. Him and Tim rip around.
Oh,
dude.
yeah. It's that
fast boys.
Yeah, it's a group of like 10 guys, and they're all
those
like
dudes will just smoke me
50
too.
plus.
Yeah.
And they're freaking fast.
They're so fit.
They're fast.
Yeah. Both up and down too. It's rad.
Yeah. What all shops did you work at here in Santa Fe?
So when I moved here in 2000, when I moved here, 2007. I started going to Bike and Sport.
Yeah.
As a customer.
I remember when you worked there.
Yeah. And my buddy PJ, who used to say that his name was Milwaukee James. So PJ, I started talking to him. He's like, yeah, I think we can hire somebody. Talk to the man. The man is Tony Farrar, the owner.
Yeah.
Awesome dude.
Love
So yeah, no, I'm in a weird position now because now that I opened my shop, I feel like he probably might not feel super stoked that I opened the shop. But if it wasn't for him, I would have not been in the shop in the industry. So I have to thank him. I have to thank David Bell for giving me a chance to be in the industry and doing something that you know that I love. It's working at a bike shop is probably the best job that I could have think of. I haven't had many jobs, but all the jobs, it's like none of them match this. Like working at a bike shop is my favorite thing to do. You use your brain, your hands, your social skills, you use everything. I mean, I went to school for what did I study? Communication science. And I use it indirectly in my work every day.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I moved here in 2007. I started visiting Bike and Sport. Started talking to Tony, and I was like, I'll work for free, man, because I just want to start working at a bike shop. So he gave me a chance. I was there for 9, almost 10 years.
Oh, wow. Didn't realize.
Yeah. No, it was a freaking awesome experience because there was like busy days, like extremely busy days, and there was like busy, like there was no non-busy days. It was always busy. And there was a mechanic that had been working on bikes. He actually worked at BTI at the beginning,
Really?
Rob Mayon. He was a freaking awesome mechanic, super cool dude. And he showed me a ton of things. I mean, every day I would learn something new from him. He's been doing it for probably as long as I've been alive for, or however long. But he's been doing it for a long, long time. So every day he would show me something. So I started working there, I worked the whole floor, all the way from fixing a flat to building a very expensive bike, to selling a bike, to selling a kid's bike, to selling all that stuff. And then COVID happened and life changed. And I had been visiting Mellow Velo, on just friendly visits. And one of the times, one of the guys like, hey, you want to work here? I was like, yeah. It's like, all right, cool. So I started working there like a couple months after I started at the body shop. And I would just work Fridays and Saturdays. And it was just like super awesome. It was like my relaxed time. Like I would walk in and they're like, hey, we want you to do this, and that. I was like, all right, cool. So I just like hands-on, just did all that stuff. And it's just really enjoyable. It was really fun. It was super chill. And I did that for 3 or 4 years. And then...
is that how you paid your house off?
Basically, yeah. Well, no.
2 jobs.
Out of the bike industry.
It's basically my wife. She can manage money. She's amazing. So it's mostly because of her. I mean, we both work. So she was really good with money and she made it happen. So we paid off the house. But yeah, it was working Mellow Velo was like the little income that I didn't report to my wife. She's like, yeah, you can have that money.
Yeah. Keep the bikes coming. Yeah.
I think it was like the first week of 2020, I started full time. And yeah, no, it was great. I worked there, so 2020, so 4 years full time, and met a bunch of people there. Super cool. Everybody that worked there was just like really chill. It was just a fun place to work at.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You look forward to going to work. It was just an awesome place.
Amazing crew too. Like
of course,
you walk into that shop, it was just like
good vibes.
Good vibes.
People were just
strong coffee.
Strong coffee for sure. People already on 3 cups of coffee.
Yeah.
I was excited to go to work every day.
That's perfect. I mean, you can't always choose your customers. I've had plenty of experiences where a customer frustrates you, but if your coworkers are like your good buddies, it really helps balance things out. And that's a great vibe in that shop, and great.
You dudes are still getting together, right? The band gets together here and there.
We got together 3 weeks ago at my shop. Now, I kind of sent out a text to the group. I was like, "Hey guys."
Even Todd has admitted, he's like, man, like, I didn't really know this would affect me this much, but like, I miss my coworkers. Like, we all just like, all of y'all just worked so well together. Yeah.
That's cool. So I think you talked a lot about like all the great community that you made there. And it seems like that, like I had heard you had a bit of a following on customers that people were like, I'm going to come buy my next bike from Pedro.
Anytime I was in that shop, people would go there specifically to see Pedro.
So I think like that's got to be such a good lead into a new shop. You already have like dedicated customers that are going to follow you in a way.
Maybe I did. I'm not sure. I mean, I do have a few customers that I've met throughout the years, and they're not just customers. They're like friends, you know, and you get to, you feel comfortable giving them your cell phone number. So yeah, there's still a pretty good group of guys that are, you know, coming to the shop now. I can't say that many. It's weird. Like having the shop allowed more people that I had never met before, that I have never seen at a bike shop before, come into me. And
do you think that's location or different vibe, or
it's just like a little bit of everything?
Yeah.
I think and it's weird because there's no shop on this side of town.
Totally.
Which when my partner was like, "Oh, I bought a building over here," and so we went and looked at the building that he had, and it's like, "Do you know the name for the shop?" It's like, "No." And then I looked at the window on the door, and it said Building F1. I'm like, "Oh, that's like perfect," because I like Formula One. And my idea was I want to have a shop that when you walk in, it feels like you're in a Formula One garage. Like the floor has to be clean. The shop needs to look a certain way. Not there yet, but getting closer.
It looks and feels great in there.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. No, it's like this morning I was like, man, this floor looks filthy. I need to. Yeah, no, it's super cool. It's weird. It's just weird for me. It's like I almost feel like I'm dreaming a little bit, and I kind of don't want to wake up.
Yeah, right.
It's just really cool. And just being by myself is so weird. Like
that's got to be tough, I think.
Yeah, I mean, after working for 10, 12, 15 years with 6 other people every day, I mean, I spend more time at the bike shop or at work than I did at home. So when you spend that much time with other people, that it was just freaking cool. And now I'm by myself. So I come in, turn the lights on, set the alarm, and I go to check emails. And I can put whatever music I want. That's what I've been putting country
no compromises
music.
Here. All right, well, let's get this has been really cool, and hearing all the history. Tell us what bikes do you have in there? What is the focus of this shop and brands that you've got, the spread?
So the whole idea is that I wanted to keep it simple. I want somebody to walk in and, oh, I need a helmet. And you see the helmet and you're like, those are the options. And if you don't like, I can order it. But this is what I have in stock. Same thing with the bikes. I want to have just very simple floor pan. I don't want to be too much of anything. So I'm going to have 2 brands. And I was fortunate enough to have BMC. And then Specialized kind of happened. And so I have Specialized and BMC. And Specialized just has everything. I mean, you can dress yourself up from head to toe with Specialized. And they make some good stuff.
So good.
The bikes are good, but everything else is great. Like I've been using their shoes for, I don't know, 15 years, 16 years. And even not selling Specialized, I would still ride Specialized shoes just because they just always felt just good. They make great wheels. They make great, the clothing is good. I like it. Some people don't, but I like it and it's good value. I have a pair of shorts that are probably, 10 years old and they still work. So I use those and they work great. They have pockets in the bag. They're liners and
that is actually a really good brand to fall in with early on because you can outfit the whole floor and really have all the accessories easy.
Yeah, they got great tires.
Yeah, their tires, their saddles, their shoes.
Their saddles are, holy cow.
Tires and saddles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And bikes. Man, their bikes are, I got a couple bikes in there that are, holy cow. They're just, you look at them and you're like.
Are you stocking e-bikes on the floor?
I am. Yeah, no, I'll be carrying some e-bikes. I do have a couple gravel bikes. I have a few mountain bike e-bikes. So yeah, I have e-bikes, gravel, road, mountain.
Turbo Levos. Canevos.
I don't have any Canevos. I have the
It's kind
Crios.
of a niche bike now, I think. I don't think it's as popular as...
Yeah. Yeah, I got some Levos and some Crios. And then there's another brand called Score, which actually is part
Score is underrated.
Oh, yeah.
Those bikes are really cool.
BMC sister brand, so it makes sense that you have that.
Yeah. Yeah, they went with a different brand for their more aggressive trail ride bike. And they call it Score. And super, super hot bikes. I mean, they
look
look good.
Yeah.
They ride great. They just haven't been as popular. They did a lot of marketing for a really short period through all the channels on like YouTube and stuff. So I think I would have spread out the.
You're right though. It's been quiet now for a while. You used to see. I mean, it was like the first year they really did a lot, and then when they maybe did an update, I saw a bunch more. But then it's been super quiet since then. So I assume there's some new models on the way based on
I hope
near regular timing. But
yeah,
not too much catches my eye, but those really caught my eye. It's cool stuff.
Really, really good. They're confidence inspiring is how I call those bikes.
Yeah, sweet. Cool spread to have like a big brand like Specialized and then something pretty niche like Score and then BMC also, I would say kind of niche high-end stuff, you know.
Super hot bikes.
You'll cover a lot of different parts of the market with those few brands, I would think.
And in reality, so we want to keep it really small. I don't want to have too many brands of shoes. I want to have two brands of road shoes, 2 brands of mountain bike shoes. Specialized has both. So I'm looking for I think we're going to get Quack shoes because I think they're freaking hot.
Is that POC?
Quack. QOUAC or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's right.
They did the like hydration packs or no?
Riley rides those shoes. I don't think we have anything.
No, they're like super cool.
Yeah, it's like a gravel road thing. Yeah.
And then I have the RC shoes, the Ride Concept.
Yeah.
I heard good things about those. They look good.
They look good.
Like a
they
good quality.
Good.
Yeah.
The soles are good. They fit great. For helmets, I got the Specialized helmets for now. And we're probably going to bring either Cask. I think we're going to do Cask. We're still figuring out what other brand.
That would kind of fit the BMC thing, right?
I think. And then BMC has their own like shoe company. So we're still figuring it out. I think we're still finding what brands to put on display because it's a very small floor, so I have to like really picky on like what things I'm gonna show on display. They just have to look good.
That's one thing about Mellow Velo. Like it was really crammed in there. Like every inch was pretty much utilized. Like I guess the multiple stories made things feel a little different too. It had like a house vibe upstairs.
Yeah.
And then the main service floor is a little different. So I remember going before they moved into the downtown location and like it was basically a house. So you'd like, oh, you want shoes? Let me open this closet door and pop out these, and kind of a different vibe. So
I never went to I did go to one of the old
by
shops.
Connie's. That's the one.
Yeah, they were in one place and then they moved across the street. So I went to the first one. I didn't go to the second one because at that time I was working at the other shop and it was more of like.
You don't go in there. No, I'm just kidding.
Totally.
I don't have a lot of time. I mean, my son's 16 now. 16. And back then, I had to like run home to like whatever family things I had to do. So there wasn't a whole lot of free time to go wander around and see other shops. And my wife's always like, whenever we travel, she's never officially said, you can't. But it's like kind of weird for me to take my bike or like where we're traveling somewhere for me to say, oh, let me go into the bike shop. 'Cause I think one time she said, why do you want to go to the bike shop? You work at one. I was like, I mean, you're not wrong.
I get that vibe though. I was in Salida a few weeks ago and I was like, we were right down the street from one of the big shops and I was like looking over, I could sneak in there and just say what's up, but didn't go. Just,
Are you married?
Yeah. Oh, I was with my wife and 5-year-old kid. So it was just like, no, we're going to focus on the family time. Okay, so I was wondering, you have like all this history of bike shops and different types of businesses. Like, what do you think you're going to bring? What kind of knowledge are you going to bring from those past experiences to give you success here?
So the main thing that I want to focus is just be a cool place where I don't want to sell bikes. I want to give the knowledge to my customer for them to buy the bike from either me or the other shops. I had a lady come in. She's like, well, I'm looking for a bike. So I said, okay, here's what I think you need. You need to focus on 3 things. You need to focus on being healthy. And a bike is important, but it's not the main reason why you're going to go fast. If you're looking for a bike, so option A, option B, option C. So here's the knowledge. Now you use it for whatever. And if you don't buy a bike from me, that's okay. I want you to buy a bike from one of the shops in town. I don't care who you buy it from because the main, for me, for the past 6 years has been the main thing why I buy a bike is because of the way it looks. I might be wrong. And people will say, well, there's differences. Well, there is differences. I'm not going to say that this bike is better than that bike. I think they're all amazing bikes. We're in an era right now where it doesn't matter what brand you get a bike. It's going to be freaking awesome.
Bikes are super good.
Are just so
good. Options from everyone, yeah.
And the main difference is how they look. I mean, I wasn't thinking of buying a bike this soon, me owning a shop. And Specialized came out with this pink fork and green bike with yellow letters. And I saw it and I was like, can I order that? So I pre-ordered it. I was like, I want to see it in person. So I ordered one. We ordered 3. They show up and I was like, oh, that looks so good. And my partner's like, are you going to grab it? I was like, I think so. So I ended up grabbing it and building it up and it's an Epic Pro. But this paint job is just so good.
The paint looks really good this year. Whatever's going on this model year, those bikes have been catching my eye.
Yeah, the Epics look hot. I think the Stumpjumper looks amazingly hot.
I like that Chisel FS frame only, the pink one. I think it looks pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm really close to, I'm really excited about that bike. BMC has really cool bikes. I wish they would just make both brands. They need to make, almost every brand, I think they need to make a white bike. Just the whatever color of white they want to use, but a white bike.
Yeah, white and black. Yeah, it's always like some matte black, but just a nice, I hear you.
Yeah, no. Yeah. So I was telling these ladies, like, look at a bike, go to the bike shops, interview the bike shops, see which bike shop you feel, catches your eye, your attention, and get whatever bike. It's in your budget, obviously, because you might fall in love with a $12,000 bike and you're only looking for a $3,000. So that might be a little hard, but have yourself a budget, stick with it, and then go around and check out all the bikes and see which one just catches your eye. Because if you're excited about how it looks, you're going to want to ride it every day. And that's what's going to be what makes you get better on riding bikes. I like to just say, this gives you confidence going downhill. This is efficient going uphill. This is fast on the flats. This is light for the uphills. This takes a big tire. Simple words that it doesn't matter who it is. If it's a guy that's been riding bikes for 20 years, they know what I'm talking about. And then sometimes you get the nerds who are like, oh, what's the head tube angle on that? It's like 65. Oh, man, mine's like a 64 and a half. It's like a...
Some people get stuck in the numbers.
Many. They do too much research. So the other thing is that, like, when somebody walks in,
there you go.
We'll say, where do you want to ride?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to ride a La Tierra, or I want to ride a Del Bow, or I want to ride a Glorieta. And then you're like, okay, so if you want to go over there, you get this bike. If you want to go over there, you get this tire. So if you want to go over there, you get these shoes. If you go online and you see this guy saying, this tire has this 64 TPI with this rubber and it grips really good. And then you look at the video and they're riding in British Columbia.
Yeah,
and you're like,
completely different than
not
where
even
we
relative to our terrain.
Yeah.
And then that guy is like 110 pounds and 6'2". I mean, how are you going to use that information for your knowledge? How are you going to use that for like how the bike is going to ride forward?
First question, just how fast do you want to go?
They come in, they said, I'm looking for a new bike. And I go, what's your favorite color? And they're like,
I'm sure that throws a lot of people off. They have no idea. That's actually such a good way to like snap it out of the classic bike shop vibe. Like you're already just like, we're not going to be that crazy technical. We're not going to like speak over your head. I love it. Such a good.
But I really want to make it to where people come in and they don't feel like, I just want to keep it chill where, like I said, I just want to give you the knowledge, the information for you to make a decision where you want to buy your bike. But if you're going to have just one bike, who cares? Just make that your bike and learn how to ride that bike, how you want it to ride and where you're going to be riding it. Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters is like where you want to go and how you want to ride it. And if you're like getting into this and you're reading reviews about a $12,000 bike and it's like you're wasting your time. It's cool. We all drool over that.
And like you said, there's so many good bikes out there. Every brand's making great bikes.
I almost want to say there's not a bad bike right now. I don't think there's a bad bike other than Canyons. They make so good looking bikes. Totally. That's the other thing.
They do.
They're hot. And those guys that are riding those bikes, they make them like Matthew Vanderpool rides that mountain bike and he rides it like nobody's business. And you're like, is that bike the best bike? It's like, it is under him.
Exactly.
And if you're looking for a good bike, just go to the bike shop and say, hey, this is my budget. And if you get the right shop, if you get the right vibe, the right energy, the right person, he's going to look, because all the companies, they have a bike on sale that we can work with you on matching your needs. And just come with the knowledge, okay, I have X amount of dollars, and you walk in and you like the vibe, go with that. The bike is going to be great from here or from the other shop, but if you get the bike from the wrong shop, you're always going to be like, oh man, I just don't like that vibe. And that's not, I just want to be different than all the other shops.
You guys got anything else? This has been super fun. I love hearing your story and kind of mindset behind the whole thing. Can't wait to see the shop thrive and continue.
Doesn't matter what kind of bike you have, just matters how you ride it, at the end of the day.
The worst day on a bike beats the best day at work.
Oh, yeah.
So even if whatever bike you have, just ride it. And I think...
I'm trying to think of the last time I had a bad time on a bike.
Oh, I had one this past weekend. Holy cow. Holy cow. I thought my belly was going to just bleed. It felt... I underdressed so bad. I was like... I
was going to say... In January, when it's 0 degrees out, you're going to have a bad time on a bike.
Mostly bad time.
I've ridden at that temperature, but I think I just miscalculated what I put on.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, this windbreaker should be enough. Oh, no. It was so not enough.
It's easy to do.
Yeah.
Do it at least once a season to remind myself.
Yeah. I hadn't done it in a while. Last year, I rode pretty much every week of the year to work. I think I averaged one ride, at least one ride a week to work, whether it had 6 inches of snow on the ground or it was however cold, however hot. And so I think I had it pretty dialed. But then Sunday came around and I was rushing it a little bit, and I grabbed one jacket instead of grabbing the other one, and I get out and riding for like a quarter mile. I was like, I think I'm underdressed.
Yeah.
But I think I'll be fine.
Better just sprint.
Because I'll warm up. And then on the way out, I ended up riding Galisteo, the rail trail. On the way out, I didn't feel too bad, but I turned around and the wind was in my face.
With the wind and against it.
I did that ride a couple weeks ago. Yeah, same. Yeah.
It was like
it's always windy on the way
I got
down.
home and I took my jersey off and I looked in the mirror and my chest was red, like a sunburn.
Yeah.
And I took a shower and it was like, I felt like the water was like 200 degrees. It was so freaking cold.
But you got almost hypothermia.
So that was the first bad ride. And it wasn't even that bad. Like, it was a chill day. My buddy and I we rode super chill. And it was beautiful if I had been dressed properly. So it was my fault. It wasn't in this case. So
totally. Sweet. Like I said, I loved hearing your story. Love having you here.
Thank you so much for the invitation, for the invite. Thank you for the time, for letting me talk about the shop, for letting me tell you a little bit of the story. I want to say thank you to everybody that's come into the shop. So yeah, thank you so much for the invite. Thank you. Thanks everybody that allowed me to work with them, to learn the process, to learn how to do stuff. And yeah, thank you so much for everything, guys.
Dude, thank you. Thanks for continuing to support the community here in Santa Fe, man. Love it.
If anybody in Santa Fe wants to check out Pedro's shop, F1 Cyclery, check it out.
And 1189 Parkway Drive, Unit F1.
Well, we wish you all the best. Thanks for listening, everyone. See you next time.